So to all of you listening, I'm sorry I didn't make this video a few days earlier when the news first came out. I've been quite busy with staff training for being a counselor. Anyways, so if you haven't already heard, and you pretty much have heard, anyone that's listening to this video, Zach Orr came out of retirement, went to visit with the Lions yesterday, and he's pending a physical. So I don't know if that means he's going to sign there or not, but I'll go through what's going on here. So he started 15 games last year. He was a second-team All-Pro. He led the Ravens in tackles. And towards the end of the season, at December 30th, 2016, I believe, he was placed on injured reserve. So basically, this was an end-of-the-season injury. He didn't really miss time, per se. And he announced his retirement on January the 20th of 2017. And what he retired from was definitely something significant. It was a neck/spine injury, they call it. Well, not injury, but condition. And because he retired, he avoided the Ravens going and making him a restricted free agent because they couldn't place that tender on him. So, therefore, now he's an unrestricted free agent. Quite complicated. Let me simplify it. Undrafted free agents, when they get through their entire deal, they become restricted free agents, which means that they can only sign with the team that they signed with. So basically, you could almost call this a tactic, maybe by Orr, that actually worked out to his advantage because he got to skip OTAs, he got to skip minicamp, and he also got to avoid being forced to play with the Ravens. Now, that being said, he's made it very publicly clear that he wants to play for the Baltimore Ravens. He really likes it there, but he's also exploring his options. So if you're a Lions fan, don't get too caught up in the fact that if they don't sign him, they don't want him. I can pretty much assure you that the Lions want Zach Orr, but you have to think about the Zach Orr wanting to go to the Lions because he's just going out there. He's exploring his options. He has the option to go out there. He's basically saying may as well. So, to all of you saying that, let's get him on a cheap deal, it's not that easy. There's going to be a demand for him. There's 7 teams that are interested in him. All those teams, I promise you, are going to have to pay, whoever does sign him is going to have to pay him a pretty good amount of money. And it's not going to be something where it's a prove-it deal, or has nothing to prove at this point in free agency. This is basically, he's the only guy left on the earth. So, if there's another woman out there, essentially, okay, let's put it this way. There's one woman, one really hot woman, and 7 guys left in the entire world. All those guys are going to compete for that. Heck, even if she wasn't hot, they would still have to compete for that because what guy doesn't want to go and yada 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 with her? My point is this. The Lions are not going to get him on a prove-it deal, and there's nothing that they can do about that. And here's the thing. The Lions only have about $5.5 million left on their cap. Is that enough to sign, or it's going to be tight? So here's something they could do in order to free up room for him. If they can agree to terms, they could possibly either trade or release Tahir Whitehead. That would create the position spot for him. It would also go and create enough cap money. The fact is this, he has a spine injury. He's not going to be paid like the way that DeAndre Levy did. He's not going to be paid that amount of money, but he'll surely go and he'll be paid, at least I could pretty confidently say he'll be paid about $8 million per year with some money guaranteed. I mean, this is not going to be a friendly signing. It's going to definitely take up some room. He's a guy who is perfectly happy to just play in Baltimore. They'll pay him what he wants. They know what he is. But if you're Zach Orr, I have to admit, he made a pretty smart move in 2 ways. He gave himself time to evaluate his options, and he totally skipped OTAs, and he gave himself that option to sign with another team. And he also significantly bumped up the value in it, because if he signs as an unrestricted free agent, he's not going to get as much money as if he goes and he signs a long-term deal, which he is right now. So basically, he just jumped the gun, and he's going to be getting all this money handed his way. That's all there is to it, really. So I'll ask you this. Would you release Tahir Whitehead for Zach Orr? Because at least Tahir Whitehead has stayed relatively healthy, and there's no real risks yet. Although right now Whitehead is battling something or another. They're not, us as fans, we're not really sure what it is, but this is definitely a dangerous move if the Lions do it and it doesn't work out. It's a lot of cap money. We'll see how it goes.